What's up YouTube? In this video, I'm going to be talking about my top 3 holdings and their earnings. I'm going to go over who I thought had the best earnings and who I thought had the worst earnings. So with that being said, if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, and let's get right into it. So for those who don't know, my top 3 holdings are SoFi, Hims, and Zeta. And as you can tell, with each one, earnings was kind of everywhere. Zeta, excellent earnings, very few complaints. And then you had SoFi, once again, excellent earnings, very few complaints. Who do I have ranked over one another? We're about to find out. But it's no secret. Here at number 3, we have Hims. Um, the earnings was not the best, and I was not afraid of giving that one away because I'm sure many of you guys already know that. But it's also not the end all be all. So the first thing I have noted here is that they lost 8% of their United States business. But that's not that bad. Yes, it shows the pain that the U.S. business has been seeing, but there is much more underlying um, the Hims business and the complete thesis that you have to understand. So in 2025 Q1, we lost Compound Solutions. That was the last full quarter we reported that. So year over year, it's a super hard comparison, thus explaining the big decline. In that quarter, we actually even had a month of the Novo partnership before it fell apart, while we were still in the peak of the compounded GLP-1 era. And so it wasn't until Q2 when we eventually had to roll a lot of those customers off. And so that made the year over year comparison hard, although it was down, and you don't want to see that at all. So, and number 2, we got full year profitability, and that won't be back until 2027. And that is because of some transitional costs in the weight loss business. They also took a hit because of legal costs, and you're also seeing the scale of new products such as the hormonal line and labs, and the payback period with Hims is 6 months. So it's, when you scale up the new customers for these categories, it's going to take time to actually see it hit the net income in a positive way, as the company continues to reinvest back into the business and scaling those products. So profitability won't be back till 2027, but we are seeing revenue growth. We got a expectation for Q2 of 680 million to 700 million, which is a big jump over the 608 million they just reported. So revenue's back, that's showing growth is back, and that's also showing that subscribers are coming back. So it's not an end all be all. Growth is coming back, and they're going to be scaling back into profitability. Um, Hormonal products have been showing a lot of promise. Andrew Dudum said on the call that they are serving tens of thousands of customers in the hormonal line just for testosterone. So this doesn't include what hers is doing with menopause. So it is very positive to see that you at least have 10,000 customers now on that product. And it's continuing to scale, and the way that they kept emphasizing it on the call tells me they are seeing a lot of promise, and it's starting to build up and live up to the hype that we were expecting when it launched. And like I've said many times before, the quickest product ever to do 100 million in a quarter was GLP-1s, and that took 9 months. And so this is just the beginning. We're only about 6 months into testosterone being on platform. I think once we get closer to a year and a half, that would be my guess of when it would finally become a 100 million plus product. But I do believe that management has a lot of hope in the cross sell here. So I think it's going to be fine, but it's something to monitor. And this was definitely the most bullish they've been about the product line since launch. So I do think that that means something, and I'll look for them to continue to stay bullish in the coming calls on this. So that being said, peptide launch, they talked about this is a little bit more bearish. They don't plan on being first in market here, but where it's more bullish is I've talked about in the past. I want them to make sure that they have more research on these peptides before serving customers to make sure they can ensure customer safety. And that's exactly the message they sent on the call. And so I like that. So if they can do their own internal studies, maybe wait for some external studies to come out and provide that data for customers to market it accordingly and educate them on what they're being sold. That's very bullish to me, and so I like that message that was came across from them. And they also said that they may not be first in market, but they're going to make sure that they're best in market, and quality is going to win in the long run. And then you have international expansion, which is driving growth, and that's up 10x. I want to say it was 67 million that was reported this quarter, but it was before they had eucalyptus and Zava, so the year-over-year comparison doesn't really mean much. But it is good to see that those are driving revenue, and although they aren't profitable yet, management seems confident in the direction those are headed, and they talked about how the eucalyptus deal wouldn't even close until the second half of this year, so that's not even included in these international expansion numbers. Okay, so number two, we got SoFi Technologies. Grew 41% year over year on revenue. They reported 167 million net income, which is up 135% year over year. Absolutely killer numbers. But the street didn't like it, and the street didn't like it because it's fintech. That's not what's in anymore. You know, there's rate cut uncertainty. Talks about rate hikes. Inflation's up. This war has not helped the fintech space at all. It's kind of ruined the macro and the hype inside of the category, and so therefore the stock has been punished. But the numbers are excellent. 41% year over year revenue growth, 167 million net income, and the only real bear cases I could take out of this was fee income was down quarter over quarter, and it was still up about, I don't have in that in the slides, but it was up about 23% year over year, which is good. But the loan business platform did very well as it scaled last year, so um, I'd like to see strong growth return. When you look at what they're guiding for year over year, they're not expecting much growth here in 2026 compared to 2025 in that category, which was a little bit of a bummer for me. Uh, but that shouldn't take away from what the overall business is still doing. The overall business is still absolutely killing it. And then you have the tech platform collapsing, and that was expected. We knew Chime was coming off, but I don't think many people realized how big of a customer Chime actually was, and so even though we're going to see growth coming back, it's still a bummer seeing it get hit so hard. And so that's going to be interesting how it does the rest of the year, and a little depressing to know, but it's a reality, and I think many people have already written off the tech platform as like a bull case. It's more just additive, whatever they do at this point, and if it can ever turn around, that's going to be very bullish. But it not turning around, we kind of accept the fact that okay, at least it helps SoFi's internal business to launch products quicker and more efficiently. And so the tech platform is not a complete failure, although it's definitely a disappointment. And number one, you got Zeta Global. They did 50% year over year revenue growth, absolutely explosive. They were not profitable, which is something somewhat like some people would hit on, but it was all because of the Marigold acquisition and getting the rest of that all paid off. Athena is absolutely doing amazing. They're seeing 100% adoption of those who are using the beta. It also helped them land their biggest client, in which it's rumored that Gap cut off all the other vendors to just work with Zeta because of how efficient Athena was for them. The ARPU continues to climb. We're seeing customers spend more. They're cutting outspend from competitors to fully partner with Zeta, which is super bullish for the company, and it's the full bull thesis is we're going to provide you so much value, you're going to find a way to not make us a cost center, but an investment, because we are going to return so much back to your business. And it's been seen here in the results. They're guiding for 2026 full year profitability, and honestly, in my eyes, when I look at their guide and what honestly they've been delivering, and I think they'll continue delivering, I think there's a real chance they hit their 2028 guide in 2027. And that would be my hot take that I give to people is I think Zeta could absolutely double their expectations by hitting that in 1 year from now rather than 2 years from now. And so I'm super excited to see what this company continues to deliver, and it's definitely probably my investment I'm most excited to go forward with and see how they continue to grow. And with that being said, that wraps up my ranking my holdings earnings results this quarter go around. I do apologize for those watching this video. You probably noticed my face cam was in front of the bottom right graph probably this whole time. That was not intended. I should have thought that through better. But that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed the video and you caught some of it insightful, a little recap of all three of these companies, SoFi, Zeta, HIMS earnings, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video.